James had always been curious about the old barn at the edge of his farm. It had been empty for years, its wooden doors creaking in the wind and shadows dancing across the walls. Most people in the small town avoided it, whispering stories about strange noises and lights at night. But James was never one to listen to rumors. That night, as the sky darkened and the stars began to shine, he felt a strange pull toward the barn. He opened the heavy doors slowly, and the smell of dust and hay hit him. His flashlight flickered, revealing piles of old tools and broken furniture. Everything seemed normal, or at least as normal as an abandoned barn could be. But then he heard it. A soft, trembling voice. "Please, help." James froze. He strained his ears. The sound came from the corner, where shadows clung to the walls. He cautiously stepped closer, his heart beating faster. And there, huddled among the hay, was a small creature. It looked like a child, but its large, luminous eyes and strange skin told him it was unlike anything he had ever seen. The creature's voice was weak but urgent. "My mother, she's dying." James's mind raced. Who, or what, was this? And why was it hiding in his barn? The child's eyes filled with fear and pain. James felt an unexpected surge of compassion. He knelt down carefully, not wanting to frighten it further. "Don't worry. I'll help," James whispered, though he had no idea how. The alien child trembled and tried to speak again, but the words were faint. James realized that time was running out. He glanced around, looking for anything that might help. The barn was empty except for old farming tools, hay, and shadows that seemed to twist like living things. He decided to take the child outside. The night air was cold, but the child seemed to gain a little strength. As James walked toward his truck, he tried to ask questions. "Where's your mother? What happened?" The child looked up with eyes full of urgency. "Outside, she's in pain, can't move." James's heart pounded. He knew that whatever was happening, it was serious. He hurried to his truck, lifting the tiny alien into his arms. He had no idea what he was about to face, but something inside him knew that he couldn't turn back. The stars above twinkled, indifferent to the drama unfolding below. But James felt a strange energy, like the universe itself was watching. He started the truck and drove toward the direction the child had indicated. Every bump in the road made the child cry softly, and James's anxiety grew. What kind of creature was this? How could he possibly save it, and its mother? As he neared the outskirts of the farm, James saw a faint glow in the distance. It pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. He slowed the truck and approached cautiously. The alien child's grip tightened around his arm, trembling even more. "Mom, please," it whispered. James swallowed hard. Whatever waited ahead, he knew his life had just changed forever. And in that moment, the barn, the shadows, and the lonely farm seemed like the beginning of something much bigger, something that might change everything he thought he knew about the world, and the universe. The glow grew brighter as they approached. James felt a shiver run down his spine. The child's whispers became urgent, almost desperate. "Hurry, she needs help." And then, just as they reached the edge of the glowing light, James realized he was not prepared for what he would see next. The glow ahead pulsed brighter as James approached, casting strange, dancing shadows on the ground. The alien child clung tightly to his arm, trembling with a mix of fear and hope. Its large, luminous eyes reflected the strange light, giving James an eerie sense that this little being could see things beyond human perception. As they moved closer, James noticed the source of the light, a circular area in the field, where the grass seemed to shimmer with a faint, otherworldly energy. It wasn't fire, nor any electric light he had ever seen. It felt alive. Almost like it was breathing. The child whispered urgently, "Mother, she's inside," its tiny hands pointed toward the center of the glowing circle. James's instinct screamed caution, but his heart would not let him turn away. He stepped forward, every footfall crunching loudly on the frosty grass. As he reached the edge of the glow, he realized the ground beneath him wasn't solid, it seemed to ripple slightly, like water frozen in motion. Suddenly, a sound pierced the night, a low, guttural groan. James froze. The child's eyes widened in terror. She's suffering, it whispered. From the center of the glow emerged a massive, shadowed figure. Its shape was humanoid, but the proportions were strange, too tall, too thin, and covered with faintly shimmering skin. It lay on the ground, barely moving, and James immediately understood, this was the mother. The alien child let out a soft cry, almost like a sob, and tried to crawl toward her. James caught it just in time. "I won't let anything happen to her," he said firmly, though fear gripped him tightly. He examined the mother carefully. Her breathing was shallow, uneven, and her eyes flickered weakly open. Something inside her radiated an energy James couldn't explain. It was powerful, almost overwhelming, yet fragile. James looked around desperately. The barn, the tools, the glow, all of it seemed like clues to a puzzle he had no answers for. He needed help, but who could help him? No doctor on Earth could treat an alien being. He felt helpless, but giving up was not an option. The child's voice shook him from his thoughts. "Please, save her." James's mind raced. He remembered the medical kits in his barn, old supplies his grandfather had left behind. Nothing was designed for an alien life form, but he had to try something. Every second counted. He gently placed the child down and rummaged through his truck for blankets, water, and anything that could stabilize the mother. As he worked, the glowing field seemed to respond to his movements. The grass shimmered brighter whenever he touched the mother, and James felt a faint vibration under his feet, like the planet itself was alive. The sensation was strange, almost hypnotic, but he shook it off. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. James worked tirelessly, cleaning wounds, keeping the mother warm, whispering reassurances even though he knew she couldn't understand him. Every so often, the child leaned against him, trembling, whispering words of encouragement in its alien language. James didn't understand, but the tone carried hope, fear, and desperation all at once. Suddenly, a piercing shriek split the air. James and the child jumped. From the edges of the glowing field, dark shapes emerged, fast, shadowy forms with glowing red eyes. James's heart raced. The barn, the glow, the field, it was all connected. These creatures were dangerous, and they were coming straight for them. "Run!" James shouted, grabbing the child. He lifted the mother as best he could, though she was heavy and frail. The shadowy creatures moved faster than he expected, circling them, cutting off escape routes. But just as it seemed they were trapped, the glowing field pulsed violently, sending the shadows stumbling backward. James realized the glow wasn't just light, it was a barrier, a defense mechanism from the alien mother's energy. It gave him a chance. He ran with all his strength, dodging obstacles and leaping over fallen branches. The child clung to him tightly, whispering prayers James didn't understand, but felt in his bones. They reached the edge of the field, gasping for air, hearts pounding, yet safe, for now. James looked back. The shadows had retreated, unable to cross the glowing barrier. The mother's faint energy radiated through the field, protecting them, but James knew it was only temporary. He needed a plan, and fast. The child's eyes met his. "We must save her," it said, voice trembling but firm. James nodded, understanding the truth, this was only the beginning. The barn, the glowing field, the alien beings, all of it was connected. And the universe had just thrown him into a story far bigger than he could have imagined. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Whatever came next, he wouldn't back down. He had to save the alien mother, and in doing so, prove that humanity could rise to challenges beyond Earth itself. The night air was thick with tension as James carried the fragile alien mother through the dark field. The glowing circle behind them pulsed softly, like a heartbeat fading into the distance. Every step he took felt heavier, not just because of the mother's weight, but because of the unknown dangers lurking in the shadows. The alien child clung tightly to his shoulder, whispering words in its strange language. James couldn't understand them, yet he felt the urgency, the fear, and the hope wrapped in each syllable. It was as if the child was trying to guide him, pointing subtly toward a distant cluster of trees. James didn't question it. He followed. The forest was dense, shadows twisting like living creatures around him. Strange noises echoed through the night, rustling leaves, distant cries, and the occasional unnatural hum that made the hairs on his neck stand on end. The child trembled, but its grip on James never wavered. Suddenly, a bright flash lit the sky. A figure emerged from the trees. James froze. It wasn't fully human. Its tall, slender form glowed faintly, like the mother, but its eyes burned with a fierce, alien intelligence. The child gasped, whispering urgently, "Guardian, friend." James hesitated. Was this creature here to help, or to attack? The tension was unbearable. Then the figure spoke, its voice deep and melodic, yet strangely familiar to James. "Do not fear. We have been waiting." Before James could respond, the forest floor began to tremble. From the shadows, dozens of dark shapes, like the ones they had escaped, slithered and skittered toward them. Their red eyes glinted like fire. James's heart raced. The mother stirred weakly, sensing the danger. The glowing guardian stepped forward, its energy forming a protective barrier around them. The dark creatures hissed and recoiled, unable to breach the light. James marveled at the sheer power emanating from the alien being. What are you?" he whispered. "I am Kale," the guardian said. "We protect the balance. The mother's life is crucial. The darkness must not consume her." James glanced down at the mother. He could feel her faint heartbeat, fragile yet stubborn. "How can I help?" he asked, his voice trembling. Kale's eyes met his. "Your courage brought you here. The mother's survival depends on your choices, human. She carries a power that could change worlds. If the darkness reaches her, it will consume not only her, but many planets. You must guide her to safety." James's mind reeled. Planets? Power? Darkness? He felt like a man caught in a storm of forces far beyond comprehension. But one thing was clear: he had a role to play. He had to protect them, no matter the cost. The alien child tugged at his sleeve. "Go, faster," it whispered. Its voice was urgent, almost desperate. James tightened his grip on both the mother and the child, sprinting deeper into the forest, guided by the glowing trail Kale had left. Branches whipped past them, scratching and tearing at their clothes, but James didn't stop. Behind them, the dark shapes pressed closer, snarling, shrieking, and hissing. Each step felt like running through a nightmare, yet the human instinct to survive and protect pushed him forward. Suddenly, they stumbled into a clearing. The ground was smooth and glowing, much like the field they had first discovered. The mother's energy reacted to it immediately, strengthening, pulsing with light. James could feel the warmth and power radiating through his hands as he set her down. Kale stepped forward. "She must rest here. Her energy will heal and fortify her. But the darkness will not stop. You must stay vigilant." James nodded, understanding the enormity of the situation. He glanced at the alien child, whose large eyes glimmered with hope. They had survived the first attack, but he knew this was only the beginning. The darkness was relentless, and the universe itself seemed to test his courage at every turn. As they stood in the glowing clearing, James realized that his life, once ordinary and simple, had become a thread in an interstellar story far greater than anything he had ever imagined. And the night was far from over. The glowing clearing was a brief sanctuary, but James knew it wouldn't last. The air vibrated with tension, and the shadows from before seemed to linger at the edge of his senses. He crouched beside the alien mother, her body slowly pulsing with energy. Each beat seemed to push back the darkness, but not for long. The alien child whispered urgently, "They, coming." Its small hands trembled as it pointed toward the forest edge. James turned, straining to see, and caught sight of movement. The dark creatures were advancing again, faster, smarter, almost calculating each step. Their red eyes burned like coals, and their claws scraped against the glowing ground. "Kale, what do we do?" James asked, panic rising. Kale's glowing form shimmered with intensity. "The clearing can only protect for a short time. We must move her to the sanctuary of light. Only there will she be safe." James swallowed hard. He had no idea where this sanctuary of light was or how to reach it, but the urgency in Kale's voice left no room for hesitation. He lifted the mother carefully, feeling her energy thrumming through his arms, stronger now yet still vulnerable. The alien child climbed onto his shoulder. "Quick, follow." They sprinted through the dark forest, guided by Kale's faint glowing trail. The dark creatures moved faster now, hissing and shrieking, surrounding them from all sides. James's heart pounded as he dodged fallen branches and leapt over roots. Every sense screamed danger. Suddenly, a shrill cry echoed through the trees. James froze. One of the dark creatures had broken off from the group and lunged straight at him. With a burst of strength he didn't know he had, he dodged and pushed the alien child behind him. The creature skidded past, snarling, leaving a faint scorch mark on the glowing ground. James realized this was no ordinary predator. It was intelligent, hunting them like they were prey in a deadly game. He glanced at the alien child, whose wide eyes reflected both fear and trust. That trust ignited something inside him. He wouldn't let them fail. They broke into a narrow canyon, the walls glowing faintly from residual energy. James could feel the mother's power reacting to the canyon's energy, strengthening her pulse. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but it gave him hope. "Almost there," Kale whispered, leading the way. "Sanctuary is close, but shadows are cunning." A sudden shadow burst from above, crashing down from the cliffside. James barely dodged, rolling to the ground, the mother still in his arms. The alien child clung to him, whispering in its strange language. The words weren't just sounds, they carried emotion, almost like an energy James could feel. Through the chaos, a strange realization hit him: the mother's power wasn't just life, it was defense. And the more they were pursued, the more it reacted, sending pulses through the environment that slowed the darkness, giving them brief moments of safety. The canyon narrowed, funneling them toward a glowing archway carved into the cliff face. James could see the light inside, pure, blinding, warm. Kale's energy surged around them, forming a shield that pushed back the shadows. James sprinted the final distance, heart hammering. One last shadow lunged, clawing at the mother. With all his strength, James leapt forward, crashing through the archway just as the creature's claws grazed him. The bright light swallowed them, and for a moment, everything was silence. When James opened his eyes, they were in a vast chamber filled with luminous pillars and a golden, shimmering floor. The air pulsed with energy. The mother's body floated slightly, glowing stronger than ever, her eyes opening fully now, radiating warmth and power. James dropped to his knees, exhausted but in awe. The alien child climbed down from his shoulder, whispering softly, "Safe, now." Kale appeared beside him, his glowing form calm and steady. "This is the sanctuary of light. Here, she will heal. But remember, human, your courage brought her here. The universe watches those who act with bravery and heart." James looked at the mother, then at the child, and felt something stir inside him. This was bigger than him, bigger than Earth. And yet, in this moment, he realized something profound: humanity could rise to meet even the greatest threats of the universe. But even as he breathed a sigh of relief, a faint tremor ran through the floor. From the shadows at the edge of the sanctuary, a red glow flickered. The darkness had not been defeated, it was only retreating. And James knew, with a chilling certainty, that the real battle was only beginning. James stood in the glowing sanctuary, his breath still heavy from the run through the canyon. The alien mother hovered above the golden floor, her glow steadily intensifying. The child clung to his side, small but resolute, its eyes scanning the shadows at the edges of the chamber. James had hoped this place would be safe, but deep down, he knew better. Cale's luminous form shimmered beside him. The darkness never rests, the guardian warned. It waits, grows stronger, and hunts. Even here, it tests courage. Before James could respond, the shadows erupted. Dozens of dark creatures poured into the sanctuary, their glowing red eyes striking fear into every corner. Unlike before, they didn't hesitate, they attacked with precision, clawing at the air, seeking to reach the mother. James's heart raced. He looked around, no weapons, nothing but his own human strength and determination. But he realized something crucial: in this place, the energy of the mother and Cale could be guided. They could fight back, but only if he acted. "Stay close to me," James shouted to the child. He focused, feeling the strange pulse of the sanctuary beneath his feet. He could sense the mother's energy responding to his heartbeat, the guardian's power amplifying his courage. The first creature lunged, faster than James could blink. He sidestepped and grabbed a shard of glowing debris from the floor. When he thrust it forward, a beam of concentrated energy shot from it, striking the creature. It screeched and disintegrated into shadows, leaving only a faint echo behind. James's eyes widened. He could channel the sanctuary's energy. Every pulse, every glow, he could use it to defend them. The child watched him, awe and hope shining in its eyes. Cale nodded. The universe chooses unlikely heroes. Do not doubt yourself, human. With newfound determination, James took the mother's energy in his mind, the glowing shard in his hands, and pushed back the attacking creatures. Shadows hissed, recoiled, and multiplied, but he kept fighting. His arms burned, his legs ached, yet he refused to stop. The mother stirred, her energy merging with his efforts, amplifying every strike. The child joined too, whispering its alien words, sending waves of hope and courage through James. Together, human and alien formed an unexpected alliance of light and heart. Hours, or maybe minutes, James couldn't tell, passed in a blur of motion and energy. Shadow after shadow fell, unable to withstand the combined force of human courage and alien power. Finally, a deafening silence filled the chamber. The darkness had been pushed back, scattered into the far corners of the sanctuary. James sank to his knees, drenched in sweat but alive. The mother hovered gently above the ground, fully healed now, her glow brighter than ever. The alien child smiled, a rare, joyful expression that melted James's fatigue away. Cale approached. "You have done more than survive. You have proven that even a single human can alter the course of the universe. Your courage, your compassion, your refusal to give up, they are what make humanity remarkable." James stared, overwhelmed. He had always thought of himself as ordinary, a simple farmer. But here, in this alien sanctuary, he had faced creatures from the dark void of space, guided a fragile child, and protected a being whose life could influence countless worlds. The child's voice whispered softly, "Thank you," in its strange language. James didn't understand the words, but the meaning was clear. He had become a hero in a story far greater than anything he had imagined. Cale turned to him, serious now. "This victory is only temporary. Darkness will rise again. But know this, courage, hope, and heart, these are the weapons it cannot overcome. You, human, carry them well. James looked at the glowing mother and the child. He realized that this adventure had changed him forever. He was no longer just a farmer. He was a protector, a hero, part of a cosmic story where humanity could stand alongside the stars themselves. As the sanctuary's glow filled the chamber, James knew one truth above all: the universe may be vast and dangerous, but courage, compassion, and human determination could shine brighter than any darkness. The glowing sanctuary seemed calm now, but James felt the weight of the universe pressing on him. The mother hovered gracefully, her energy strong, yet there was a tension in the air that made his heart race. The alien child clung to his arm, wide-eyed, sensing that something bigger was about to unfold. Cale's form shimmered beside him. The darkness retreats, but it is not gone. Soon, it will return, stronger and more cunning. The next moment will test you, human. Your courage will decide more than one life, it will decide the fate of many worlds. James swallowed hard. He had faced shadow creatures, navigated glowing fields, and protected a fragile alien family. But this felt different. He sensed a decision approaching, a choice that would weigh on him forever. Suddenly, the ground trembled. The air grew thick, and shadows began creeping in at the edges of the sanctuary. But they were not ordinary shadows, they seemed to speak, whispering promises and threats in a language James could feel rather than hear. Choose, a voice echoed, deep and ancient. It came from nowhere and everywhere. Sacrifice one to save many, or risk all to protect what you love. James's heart stopped. His mind flashed to the mother, fragile but glowing, the child who depended on him, and the countless unseen lives across planets that might fall if darkness prevailed. The impossible choice pressed down like a mountain. The alien child's small hands reached for him. "We trust you," its voice trembled. James felt an electric surge of emotion. He realized that courage wasn't just about fighting monsters, it was about making impossible decisions, about standing firm when the universe demanded it. He glanced at the glowing mother. Her eyes locked on his, radiant and filled with trust. He could feel her energy merging with his own heartbeat, amplifying his resolve. James made his choice. "I will not abandon you," he whispered, voice steady, though fear coursed through him. "No matter the cost." The shadows recoiled at the defiance, shrieking and twisting. The sanctuary pulsed with energy, reacting to James's courage. The mother's glow flared, and Cale's luminous form expanded, forming a shield that radiated outward. The darkness shrieked, clawed, and surged, but the human heart at the center of the storm held strong. Energy shot through James, sharp and powerful, as if the universe itself had recognized his decision. The shadows wavered, then fragmented, retreating into the void from which they came. Silence fell. The alien child gasped, looking up at James with awe and gratitude. "You saved us." The mother descended gently, touching James's shoulder with a glowing hand. A warmth flooded him, calming every fear. He realized something incredible: the courage of one human had altered the outcome of a cosmic struggle. Cale nodded solemnly. "This is the true power of humanity. Not strength, not technology, not firepower, but courage, compassion, and the willingness to stand for what is right. You have passed the ultimate test." James looked around the sanctuary, the mother's glow, the child's hopeful eyes, and the fading edges of darkness. He understood then that this was more than survival, it was a story of hope, a story that showed the universe that even ordinary humans could shine brighter than the void. As the stars twinkled above and the glow of the sanctuary bathed everything in golden light, James felt a quiet pride. The darkness might rise again, the universe might throw impossible challenges his way, but he was ready. Humanity was ready. And for the first time, he understood something profound: sometimes, the smallest beings, the simplest hearts, and the bravest humans can change the fate of worlds. The sanctuary glowed with golden light, but the air was thick with tension. James stood tall, the alien child clinging to his side, and the mother hovering above the floor, radiating a warmth and power that filled the chamber. For a moment, it seemed peace had returned, but the universe had one final test. A deep rumble echoed from the shadows. The remnants of the darkness, though weakened, were regrouping. Their red eyes burned with fury, and their claws scraped the glowing pillars. They were relentless, a storm of shadow refusing to be defeated. Kale's voice rang out, steady and commanding. This is the final assault. You, human, must stand as the beacon. The mother's life and the balance of worlds rest in your courage. James felt a chill run through him. He had faced impossible dangers before, yet this was different. He was no longer just a man protecting strangers, he was the heart of a cosmic struggle, a single point where hope and destruction collided. The child whispered, "Together, we can fight." Its tiny hands glowed faintly, sending waves of energy into James's arms. He realized then that their combined strength, human and alien, was the key. The shadows lunged forward in a wave, faster and more vicious than ever. James focused, calling on every ounce of courage within him. He channeled the sanctuary's energy through his hands, through the glowing shards he had carried, and through the mother's radiance. Light erupted, blinding and pure, striking the shadows head-on. The creatures screamed, recoiling as the combined force of human heart and alien power tore through them. James could feel the universe itself responding, bending to the courage and will of one human being. The darkness faltered, then shattered into fragments that scattered into the void. Breathing heavily, James looked around. The mother hovered peacefully, her glow stronger than ever. The child smiled up at him, their luminous eyes reflecting hope, gratitude, and a sense of wonder. Kale's form shimmered beside them. The darkness has been vanquished, for now. You have proven humanity's true power, courage, compassion, and the will to act even when all seems lost. Never doubt that a single human heart can shape the fate of worlds. James sank to his knees, exhausted but filled with a profound sense of purpose. He had entered the story as an ordinary man, a farmer with a curious mind, and had emerged as a hero whose courage resonated across the stars. The mother floated closer, her radiant hand brushing his shoulder. "You saved us, all," she whispered, her voice carrying warmth and strength that transcended words. James felt the pulse of life and hope flowing through him, and in that moment, he knew something extraordinary: humanity had a place in the cosmos, not just as observers, but as protectors, as forces of light in the endless darkness. The child tugged gently at his sleeve. "You, family, now." James smiled, realizing that family, courage, and compassion were the true power of the universe. As the golden light of the sanctuary bathed them all, he felt a quiet determination. Darkness would rise again, challenges would return, but humanity would endure. They would fight. They would rise. And they would shine brighter than any shadow. For the first time in his life, James truly understood the heart of being human: to protect, to love, and to act with courage, no matter the cost. And as the stars outside twinkled like distant promises, James, the alien mother, and the child stood together, ready to face whatever the universe would throw at them next. Humanity had found its place, not just on Earth, but among the stars themselves. The glow of hope burned brighter than the darkness ever could.